Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. And we're zooming in and focusing in on identifying another key trait of an emotional manipulator, an emotionally manipulative person, someone who is always trying to look at an angle to push your buttons, get a reaction out of you. They just don't engage in a conversation or a relationship freely. There's always some sort of manipulative angle with which they are trying to relate to you. They just can't have a free-flowing conversation where it is based on happiness, joy, curiosity, freedom, exploration, those sort of feelings. There's always another agenda. There's always another angle. There's always something with which they're trying to get in under your skin and get you to react and put up your dukes and be constantly on the defensive. And so this is oftentimes a very textbook way that a narcissist, a psychopath, a sociopath, or just an emotionally manipulative and toxic individual, toxic meaning where essentially it is like poison in your system. It is not healthy. You find yourself struggling to process this person. You find that things are always a struggle. Things are always difficult. You're constantly having to defend and justify yourself. You are in a trauma bond. There's an attachment there. There is a snag. There is a block. There is a lack of flow in the relationship because they are constantly at an angle to try to get you on the defensive and react. And to get you on the defensive means that they're always going to approach, and when I say always, I mean very chronically, consistently. You can see it as an indelible pattern that is very not prone to change, and that is of putting you on the defensive through criticism, through judgment, through a pervasive feeling of self-absorption or superiority that they have, and combined with a lack of compassion or lack of empathy. So where you're constantly having to defend and justify yourself. Why do you want to eat this? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to wear this? Why do you want these shoes? Why do you want to take this class? Why do you want to have your own career? Why are you wearing this? Why are you speaking this way? Why are you smiling? Why are you not smiling? Why are you telling the story in this way? Why aren't you telling the story in this way? There's always an angle with which they are trying to blow you out of the water, and it creates a very sort of defensive, a setup for a defense mechanism. And a defense mechanism, as we have seen by Freud, is an adaptation. So it's a way for you to constantly feel like you have to protect and defend and justify yourself. So it is a coping mechanism. And life is about adjusting and adapting, but it's about living. It is not only about coping. There's only so long you can stay in a situation where you're constantly having to cope. If you don't feel that you are competent or comfortable in that area and you're constantly trying to cope or protect and justify yourself, eventually you are going to burn out. You are in the fight or flight state for too long. You're constantly being chased by the tiger. You're constantly being chased by judgment. You're constantly held with a carrot over you that says, look, you can't get this. You are not good enough. And you're always positioned or painted into a corner where you constantly have to pounce. You have to feel that you are in a sardonic, sort of sarcastic, or sarcasm that you're always having to defend and justify yourself from. And sarcasm, I mean that you are finding yourself at the butt of other people's jokes. People can make jokes, but it's always at your expense. And it's not funny. It is really sort of, there's a truth behind the joke. And this can be oftentimes a very key indicator of a toxic or emotionally manipulative individual, such as we see with those who are narcissistic and psychopathic. And they think it's funny when, they have you hooked into this. It's like the bully at school who needs someone to pick on. it keeps them entertained. It keeps them feeling stronger. It keeps them feeling bigger. Just like the bully feels like, you know, he's king of the playground if he can beat other people up. I don't personally feel that way, but that is how this bully operates, is basically, you know, they feel like they're, you know, pushing their weight around. They have the bigger muscles. They have the louder voice. They have the meaner, you know, the meaner look. They are a bully, and they try to push people around. Not do they try, but they push people around, and then other people end up siding with them because, well, wouldn't you want to side with the bully so that you don't find yourself on the receiving end of his bullying treatment? So oftentimes that is a social psychology, is that people will side with the bully because, you know, it's better, you know, if you can't beat them, join them. You know, that is the philosophy, which, you know, people don't realize, but they tend to then, gravitate towards these individuals, so they don't, you know, it's based on their own security versus holding their own ground and saying, I don't have to explain and justify myself. I'm not attached to you in this manner. I'm living my life on my terms, and I'm living my life on my own strength. And it is in this peace with which I'm living my life. I have only my higher self, the God force, that which speaks true to me, my inner truth, to answer to. So really, the boss is inside. The internal motivation is inside. The drive is inside. It is yours. You own it. You don't have to defend and justify yourself against these people. But yet they begin to feel a win every time that they get you to answer to them. And, you know, you might have someone who you need to report to at work, but when we're talking about really in a bullying relationship where they are, you know, creating a need for you to answer to them. So in other words, it's like a boss trying to create themselves to be a boss in your life when they really are not such. That is not the position that they deserve, either in the family dynamic or the spousal relationship or the sibling relationship. They will seek to have that position because, like the bully, it makes them feel like they're on top of the heap. They are on top of the game. But you have a choice, and you have a responsibility. If you're looked down and see your own 2 feet, you have responsibility to your own heart, your own feet, your own mind, your own behaviors, to not fall prey and get caught up in the need to defend and justify yourself and explain, you know, why you're doing this, you're living your life, you're feeling this way. If you find like you're constantly having to defend and justify yourself, you're feeling always on the defensive, like, here comes this person, I better, you know, brace myself. Oftentimes that's a great muscle test. If you feel like, you know, a tension all of a sudden, you have to protect yourself. That is your internal body. That is your subconscious mind. It is inside of you. You don't even have to consciously think of it. It's a flinch reaction because you know there is danger present. There is something that you have to protect yourself. And you might try to laugh and smile over it, but oftentimes if you get into a very quiet, meditative state and ask yourself why you feel this way, oftentimes you'll get the very answer that you are looking for. It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos, that they do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Love you. Thanks for your viewership. Thanks for watching.